Hello everyone, welcome to the Way to Work podcast show with the host Julian Leahy. Today I'm joined by the fantastic Amy Shippy from Savannah, Georgia. Welcome to the show, Amy.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to play Jeopardy now. Normally we have more than one guest, but that doesn't matter. We're still going to have fun. It's just going to be Amy playing by herself. And we'll see how Amy goes. All right, Amy, the categories are common bonds, edible names, flags, weapons, and wines.
Let's go with edible names for 300. Do I get to do that?
Edible names. In 1977, this corpulent crooner came into the pop scene like a bat out of hell.
So I'm thinking Meatloaf.
Meatloaf, and that's an edible name. Well done, Amy Shippy. What would you like next?
Let's go edible names for 400.
Edible names 400. In 1971, he was chiefly responsible for instituting busing to end school segregation. I don't know what that means. So they wanted to do something to stop school segregation. Somebody with an edible name. 1971 might be before your time, Amy.
It is before my time, but I actually know what this is, and I just don't. I'm trying to think of.
What's edible about it?
I have no idea.
Let's take a look. It is Warren Burger.
Ah.
Have you heard of that person with a delicious name?
I have, and I know what busing is, so I know what they were trying to do. So that was big down here in the South, where this was probably a lot going on.
I can imagine, yes. Well, Warren Burger was the answer. What would you like next, Amy?
So let's do flags for 200.
Flags for 200. First unfurled after Hawaii's statehood, it's flown officially since 1960.
What is the United States flag?
Let's take a look. The 50-star flag, that's the United States flag. Well done, Amy. Well done.
Flags for 300?
Flags for 300. A large collection of these triangular tapering flags is found at 161 Street in the Bronx, New York City. A lot of triangular flags.
What are nautical flags?
Nautical flags. Let's take a look. Yeah, something at Yankee Stadium. Pennants at Yankee Stadium.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
That's the address of Yankee Stadium.
It is.
Is the baseball on at the moment? I think it is, isn't it? No,
yes. Baseball season is on.
It's on, and the NFL's just started.
So I'm a bigger football fan than I am baseball. So we're knee deep in college football and NFL football over here. So those are my two favorite sports.
The college football's very big down south. Who do you go for in the NCAA?
So Clemson is my family's team, so we're big Clemson Tiger fans. But living in Georgia, everybody's about the Georgia Bulldogs.
Did you see the Hail Mary touchdown in the college game 2 days ago to win it?
The game we watched was Ole Miss, and so I only watched one game on Saturday. I was out of town, so I only watched the Ole Miss Georgia Southern, and they did not have a Hail Mary touchdown. But who did? Which team did it?
I can't remember which one, but they were down, and this guy just went boom, and it was fantastic. I just saw the clip.
I'll have to find out who that was.
Yeah, it was amazing. All right, where are we? What would you like, Amy?
Wines for 200?
Wines for 200. Chianti is a red wine made primarily from this Italian grape variety. Or Chianti. It's the one that Hannibal Lecter said he would want to have when he ate your liver.
Yeah.
Chianti is a red wine made primarily from this Italian grape. What type of grape? What are the red grapes called? I have no idea.
Merlot grapes? I don't know.
Good guess. Let's take a look. Sangiovese, or what is it? Sangiovese, yeah. Italian grapes. Who knows?
Let's go with edible names for 100.
Edible names for 100. Larger-than-life comic actor who played Uncle Buck in 1989. with an edible name?
Oh, who was John Candy?
John Candy is edible. Well done. He was one of my favorites.
Yes.
Amy, what would you like?
Edible names for 200?
Edible names for 200. Nickname of Ferdinand Morton, who claimed to have invented jazz in 1902. That's a tough one. Ferdy. Let's take a look at the answer. Jelly Roll. Also a
Jelly
rapper.
Roll?
Isn't there a rapper called Jelly Roll?
Yes, there is.
Yes. A chubby rapper.
Common bonds for 100.
Common bonds for 100. Ready. Okay, so what's common about all of these three things? Ready, Keller, and of Troy. What do they have in common? Maybe a name. I think the first one was a famous American girl who was
Helen of Troy. So Helen. Who was Helen?
Helen, yes. So, the second one was Helen Keller. That was the blind, deaf girl that became educated in the university or something.
Yep.
I don't know. All right, what would you like next, Amy? Well done, by the way.
Common bonds for 200.
Common bonds for 200. U2, Maroon 5, AC/DC.
What are music groups?
Yes, indeed. Rock groups is correct. Well done, Amy.
Common bonds for 300.
This one's fun, this category. Harold Shipman, H.H. Holmes, John Wayne Gacy.
Who are serial killers?
Yes, horrible. Well done, Amy. Doing very well. You're
Let's
winning.
Go common bonds for 400.
Common bonds for 400. Killing, Onion, and WC. There was a movie about Cambodia, and it was about the atrocities that happened in Cambodia. That's the first one. Killing something. Onion. Where are onions grown? WC was an old silent movie director, I think.
I have no. I still don't know.
It is Fields. Killing Fields, Onion Fields, and WC Fields.
Okay, that makes sense.
It does.
Common bonds for 500.
Common bonds for 500. McCartney, Rudd, and Newman.
Paul. Who is Paul?
Paul is correct. I used to love Paul Newman's salad dressing. Do they still make that?
They do. Yep.
Wonderful.
You can definitely get that.
What would you like, Amy?
Edible names for 500.
Edible names for 500. Last one. This actress shot her way into the heart of Robert Redford in The Natural.
That was who is Kim Basinger?
But what's edible about that?
Oh, nothing. So hold on. Close. Kim Basinger shot her way. I don't know who the other person was in that.
Let's take a look.
Because it was Glenn Close and
Glenn Close and Kim Basinger. Barbara Hershey Bar.
Barbara Hershey. Yep, you're right.
Hershey chocolate. What would you like, Amy?
Flags for 100.
Flags for 100. Flag of this Asian nation with a symbol representing the yin yang. It flew at the 1988 Olympics.
What is South Korea?
South Korea.
South Korea.
Well done, Amy. What would you like?
Flags for 400.
Flags for 400. Among international code flags, the yellow flag indicates this health warning.
I think it's plague or yellow. It's either plague or smallpox, I believe.
Yes, quarantine. Well done, Amy. Yep. That was very obscure. I did not know that one. Great job.
Flags for 500.
Flags for 500. One of two southern states on whose state flag the Confederate battle flag can be seen. I don't know if it still can be because these questions are from the 80s.
Well, it was Georgia back in the 80s, and it was, if it's from the 80s, it was either, because Georgia had the Confederate flag, or it was Alabama.
Alabama, which they probably had to take it off, have they?
Georgia's definitely taken it off. It's not on our flag anymore. I don't know if Alabama took it off or not, but I believe those were the two states that it was.
It was Georgia or Mississippi, and you just needed to get one of them. So you got that one correct. Well done.
Okay. Weapons for 100.
Weapons for 100. This bow with a mechanical trigger is used in modern archery and hunting. You can shoot deer and pigs with these.
What is a crossbow?
Crossbow is correct. All right, we'll do one more question. What would you like?
Weapons for 300.
I did 200. Whoops. This one will do. This medieval weapon has a head with spikes mounted on a long shaft or handle.
What is a mace?
That's the one. Well done, Amy. You did very well. And you actually got more than you got about 2,000 points. Well done, Amy. Let's have a round of applause. Some good general knowledge there, because some of those were tough. You were very good on the flags. Well done, Amy. All right, now, Amy, tell us a little bit about what you do down there in Savannah. You're an entrepreneur, and you also have a group called... What was your group called?
So I have a company. My consulting company is called Lady BizWiz.
That's
and
the one.
I work with women entrepreneurs primarily. You don't have to be. I've had male clients too. But what I do is I help women entrepreneurs get over the hurdles of their business. So if you start a business, at any point in time, you're going to have obstacles. And I find that a lot of business owners in the startup phase of their business allow the obstacles to limit their forward progress. And so I work with companies in that beginning startup phase to help them create achievable goals so that they see forward momentum. And we work through the ups and downs of that startup process. And, the idea is I create a process that builds more of a system of how to approach obstacles so that when they get their business launched, they're obviously going to have obstacles throughout their entrepreneurial journey. But they can go back to the system and work the steps over and over and over again. It's replicatable throughout their journey as an entrepreneur. The process of figuring out how to take large goals and break them into small manageable goals so that, you're finding yourself chipping away, moving forward with your business, and therefore you're ultimately, finding your success and not getting hung up and stopped in the journey where you just want to give up.
And it's a bit of a superpower that a lot of women have, which is collaborating and forming communities. And men go at it a different, well, not to generalize, but men like to be competitive and women like to collaborate and network, and they're very good at it. And what types of businesses do you work with, Amy?
So most of my businesses are basically what I call, dreamer startup businesses. So it's a mom or a woman who wants to they have an idea. Maybe they have a great brownie that they think would be great in their market, or they have a clothing design idea, or they have, I'm working with a client out of New York right now. She's got she's created a dog macaron concept. So I help her kind of figure out how to price her product and pitch it to companies, figuring out what pricing models work, so they can work with it. I work with an international nonprofit that builds out helping women tell their stories. But you're right. Women are, men are very direct. They tend to kind of like push through the obstacles and it's just intrinsic because they are competitive, and that competitive nature keeps them just, this one didn't win, but I'm going to win the next one. It's a different mindset. Women, what they tell themselves when they don't win or when the obstacle comes and it just doesn't work out is like, I just was never good enough for this. I'm just not good enough. And so we seek back to community because we find empowerment in that community, because another woman will come and like, well, it was a good idea. You are good enough. Let's just look at another way of doing it. Because women will internalize that this just wasn't meant to be. And men just do approach it very differently. And what I believe is that women have fabulous ideas, but they allow their internal voice to tell them that what they're doing is not good enough. And it's just a different mindset. So that's why I come on board. I call myself a business engine, because you want to move, I help you up the hill, creating these steps to figure out how to make these goals achievable. And then you unhook from me, and then you can run that momentum downhill. And if you have another obstacle, you can hook back up to me. So that's really why I'm super passionate about that mindset, because women need that community. They need that extra that says, this really is a good idea. It's very viable. We just got to figure out a way around the obstacle, because obstacles are a commonality. No matter who's running a business, you're going to run into a roadblock, and we want you around the roadblock and moving your business forward.
Yes, and like you say, you may have a viable concept, but you don't know what you don't know. And with your experience, Amy, you are aware of a lot of the pitfalls and traps and little things that you need to work out. And speaking to somebody, I say this all the time, speaking to somebody who has some experience in a friendly, open, non-judgmental forum is just immensely helpful. And that's the benefit of what you get with somebody like Amy. Any of these types of businesses, you find somebody that you click with, and can almost guarantee you'll get some benefit from it. How do people interact with you? Do they book a call?
So there's a couple of products on my website, Lady BizWiz, which you have up and running right now, and so you can book a call with me. We can do I do an initial 30-minute call for free to see if it's something that we can work together, and then there's different packages. I'm super excited about my new digital product that's launching October, the first week of October. It's basically an 8-hour digital product that's going to take you through building out your business plan. A lot of small businesses really struggle with, like what you said, they don't know what they don't know, and they don't know how to extract it. So we work through the digital course, doing all the parts and pieces of your business and getting you again in the mindset and the muscle memory of how you attack these things, because I don't really believe it really matters what kind of business you have. The fundamentals of getting a business off the ground are basically the same. How do you attack the legal structure? How do you attack, the marketing? Who's your customer? How are you going to find your customer? How are you going to get to what are your numbers? You need to know your numbers. So we address all of that in my new digital course called the Business Plan Masterclass. And when you're done, you have a completed 50-page business plan. You get a handout that you fill out along the way. And it's going to put you in the mindset of looking at your business from all the facets, not that I just love to make a brownie and this brownie is going to be fabulous. That's only one small little nugget of being a successful business. If you don't know who wants to eat that brownie and then how to get in front of that brownie, get that brownie in front of them, or you don't know how to price out your recipe to know how much to charge for your brownie, you're going to go out of business pretty quickly. So we address all of those parts and pieces in my new digital class that I have. But, I do all of this one-on-one for customers as well. I build out costing spreadsheets. We talk about how you price things for wholesale, how you price things for retail. And I'm a big fan of doing your business from a grassroots standpoint, not going out and borrowing a ton of money that you have to pay back.
Yeah.
How do you bootstrap your business to start so that you're in control of your business, and it gives you more freedom when there are ups and downs in the world? So how do you manipulate or maneuver yourself around those things without a ton of debt behind that?
Yeah.
So I started majority of my businesses for under $5,000. Actually, my bakery business, I started for $800, and it was profitable inside 90 days, paying for itself. And, you can build that business to be successful without, $200,000 in loans, because those lenders want their money back. And I want people to have the freedom that entrepreneurship can give them, not the burden that entrepreneurship can be.
Yes, and the other problem is when people have too much funding, they have a lot of inefficiencies in their business that they haven't ironed out because they've got a leeway with enough money
Yeah.
to sort of go the wrong direction. But when you are forced to bootstrap, you're very lean and you think about every dollar, and it forces you to have really good habits, and then you can quickly see on a small scale if it's working or not, and it's easier to go from there. One thing people ask all the time, Amy, I'll ask you, is if somebody's got an idea for a business and they say, should I just do it as a sole trader or do I need to incorporate as a company? What do you tell them?
So in the United States, and I've done a little bit of research on international, so I'm going to speak mainly from a business starting in the United States.
Yeah.
So I recommend, especially if you're in a business like, say, a food business, that you do incorporate it. In the United States, the corporation gives you what's called a corporate veil, which means the assets owned by the corporation and the assets owned by you personally, that corporation allows somebody to sue you up into the assets that the company owns and not come after the assets that you own personally they have to prove gross negligence from you personally to be able to pierce that corporate veil. So if you have a business that is, a food business where somebody could get sick potentially, and you don't want that to happen, but if that were to happen and they were to sue you, I would recommend always structuring your business at least into an LLC, so that you do have some protection on your personal assets. And that's really the benefit of that. Now, if you have a business that, maybe you don't have an intrinsic liability out there, you could run through a sole proprietor. But from a tax standpoint, an LLC, flows through to your personal tax returns anyway. So there's not a huge difference from a tax standpoint and an additional paperwork. And the other reason I like creating something like that is it does make you create a clean set of books for your business that is not hopefully commingled with your personal, because you want a clear understanding of your business. But and then on top of that, if you do have something that you've gone to create an LLC for, I do recommend obviously getting some type of liability insurance. We are at least in the United States, we're a very litigious society. If something goes wrong, we want to be able to sue somebody. And I don't want a business to lose, an entrepreneur to lose their personal, like their home, because something doesn't go because of an error. So I do recommend, at least, like I said, in the United States, it's quite simple to set up an LLC. Most Secretary of States will allow you to file your own LLC. You don't even have to hire an attorney. You can go directly to your state's LLC, Secretary of State's website, and file your own. So it's rather streamlined in over here in the United States, and it does give you a level of protection for your personal assets. And that's all you're protecting is if something were to happen. If you were a delivery service and you were in a car accident making a delivery and somebody was harmed, they're going to sue you. And so you want them to sue you as far as the assets of that company. But if you have a beautiful home that you own with you don't want them to be able to come and attack those. So it makes a clean line, in my opinion.
Yeah, a clean start and also protection. And you can also get sued by employees as well if you have a falling out and somebody says, look, yep, I built that side of the business. They were all my ideas. I've seen that happen before. You don't want to lose your house over something like that. So what about somebody, Amy, who says, look, I've been operating the baking business as a sole trader. I've learned what you've told me and I need to incorporate. Is that going to be a huge PITA to go from sole trader to LLC?
No, I mean, in my first business that I opened at 25, I started as a sole proprietor. We incorporated to an LLC, and then we actually reincorporated again as an S corp. I mean, the business continued to grow, so there were some different things we needed to do, and so it's not. I mean, I would always kind of make those decisions at the beginning of whatever your fiscal year. I mean, I wouldn't probably make that decision midway through. My fiscal years for my businesses follow along the calendar year, so I tend to do those If I'm going to make a decision, that way I can clean out that one set of books for tax purposes with, the old system, and then I have a new set of books. And your books don't change. You don't create a new QuickBooks or anything like that, but it's all about how you go to file taxes. So I like to make them clean around how we file taxes here, and I make my my fiscal year run with the calendar year. So I would make that decision and make you just need a clean break to when that happens. But from a tax standpoint, a sole proprietor, an LLC, and an S corp all funnel through to your personal tax return. So it's not really, the bigger jump would be going to a C corp, and so that you would need a bigger business to do that. So that's probably not a natural transition. But no, I just like to make it nice and clean. So if I decide that in 2025 I want to change the structure of a business, I would close those books out for 2024. Keep using the same QuickBooks. I would go in and change my structure, tell my accountant what I'm doing, and then I would make the adjustment. So it's just nice and clean.
Some very good advice there. And if this sounds like something you have been thinking about, or perhaps you've got an idea for a business and you want to talk to the wonderful Amy, I'll put her links in the show notes, and you can jump on her website, book a call with Amy, and get things sorted out and get yourself on the way to having your own business. Thank you very much, Amy Shippy, for coming on.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. It was super fun. I hadn't done the Jeopardy thing in a while, and I'm a huge fan of it. So thank you so much for that. That was super fun.
Wonderful. Thanks for playing. You did very well. And thanks for listening and watching, everyone. I'm going to wrap things up.